Our solution is that we are mainly focusing on automations and artificial intelligence regarding decisions which actually relate to both health and climate as well. So we actually are focusing on having more proficient workflows and having more content which actually using for retrieval, augmented generation, and actually having aspects of natural language interactions. So yes, so the main sectors are actually focusing on impact of climate, especially towards patient and people who actually are in the climate sector, like engineers, for instance, and they may be keen on examining how better ways to incorporate technology into their own solutions, and at the same time, for instance, determining which of the foundation models to use and how to infuse IBM applications into their operations, while mainly focusing on two sectors, namely health and climate. So our solution is an intelligent system that is actually able to have curated responses and at least also focusing on other languages, like we're actually focusing on French regarding natural language and having aspects of orchestration regarding with people and training models to be more proficient in the operations. So for application of technology, we're actually starting with data regarding how foundation models operate, climate, health. Then the first is actually training it using the structure mode of the Watson-X.ai using various coordinate models. And then, of course, the second step is data is actually analyzed for bias by using the Watson-X.governance. And the data is eventually uploaded to the chat mode where we're actually using to generate responses. Then afterwards, the data actually from the Watson-X is actually rated by, it could be climate scientists and doctors regarding how efficient were they based on a percentage. And then, of course, the generated text is the text, and also, of course, the reports from the Cognos actually stored for future reference. So for the business operations, you are mainly focusing on data, technology, process, people, and we actually seek to achieve scalable growth and smarter decisions for companies. So for business value, it's actually about enhancing user experience and aligning growth in the climate and in the health sector. So for originality, it's how we're actually able to create customize documents which actually used to train our models. So I'll be able to illustrate how it actually works. So this is actually the first stage. It's regarding us by use of the Watson-X.ai. So this actually use the Grindite 3B instruct. So now this is actually data for climate scientists regarding sensors and for doctors regarding patients. So this is actually what you're actually able to use to train our model. Then afterwards, this is actually the input we're able to post in the question, and this is actually finding the output that's actually been generated. So for also for people who will not be very well conversant on technology, we've actually been able to place like how HTML could be described mainly in various professions like architecture, for instance, and at times simple languages, and also of course at least having aspects whereby people who could be medical experts who have knowledge on France could actually be able to understand the terminology actually being used. So now this is actually the output has actually been put in place, whereby the technical term, the prompt is actually converted into more medical terms, then converted to French for easy understanding. That now this is actually now where the data which we actually compiled in the documents is actually used to in the chat mode to grant the responses. So this is actually the first one could be like determining which connect model to actually use. Then that of course it's more of a detailed response that actually has been generated. And now that, of course, it's also, yes, still it's the same thing for the Granite words, but now we've actually changed the Granite, this is actually Granite 3B instruct. The other one was Granite 328 instruct preview. So yes, aside from that, we've actually been able to generate, for instance, more more medical terms that could actually aid someone to understand the response that have been put in place. Like this one, it's the description, it actually has a medical point of view. Then this actually the ratings whereby a particular, like this one is actually from, you could say someone like Joseph Fox from a company is actually able to determine the performance of each and every Granite models that this actually like ratings based on percentages. And then here that you, of course, now the information now is actually placed into the Cognos Analytics whereby it determines how the performance of the Granite models that were actually being used. It's also actually able to generate graphs as well. And this is actually more descriptive of how that tree, of course, it works, which has various narrative insights. And by the use of the IBM Information Intelligence Suite, we're actually able to use the information to also train our models to be more proficient. Thank you for watching.